What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we have the teams versus the KIZUNA Clash Katakuri. This is a pretty interesting KIZUNA, and I think it's actually relatively challenging. So if you guys, honestly, like with some of the other KIZUNAs, you can kind of cheese it, like in terms of free-to-play, but the free-to-play teams this time around, they're kind of janky. I mean, at least for one of the fights. Definitely the fight versus the INT Boss, I feel, is the most difficult, and the one that a lot of people may struggle with. Though, if you are able to find Friend Captain Fire Tank Pirates, it definitely makes that particular fight so much easier. And also the strength fight. If you have the Fire Tank Pirates as your Friend Captain, you can kind of build some pretty good teams around that. But anyways, before we get into the teams that I'm going to be showing you in this video today, including free-to-play teams, which I did kind of feature in the KIZUNA preparation video a couple of days ago, let's go ahead over to the exchange shop. Let's have a look at some things. We'll actually go through Katakuri as well. But let's have a look here. Box 1, guaranteed rare recruit. You get some Katakuri stuff. In box 2, that's where things start to get cooking. You can see that you got the Cracker Skulls as well as the Katakuri limit break materials, and it looks like that will be continuing. And then box 6 also has them, and then box 7. Is there anything special that we should probably signify here? You got Forbidden Tomes, you have some candy as well, Rumble Scrolls. Like, it seems like a pretty typical KIZUNA, of course. 1,000 items in the last box with 5 of each tablet, which is about stock standard. That's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, so, pretty standard exchange shop for the KIZUNA. Let's go ahead and have a look at the information here. So Katakuri is the character we're all going to be farming for here. He is a Psy shooter powerhouse with a captain effect that boosts shooters by 3.5, 1.25 health, and 10% damage reduction. For a free-to-play shooter captain effect, that's actually pretty awesome. I'm actually really impressed with that free-to-play shooter captain. Let's have a look at the special though. 12-turn cooldown reduces 5 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of rainbow shield, percent damage reduction, and then also will change block, recovery, tandem into matching, and then gives you a 2.75 times chain lock for 3 turns. This is a very good free-to-play unit. I think everyone should try their hardest to try and get this guy maxed out. I think it's a character that we'll see a lot of play, especially if you don't have a lot of accessible rare recruits or legends. Having a character that you can use such as this, I think is going to be pretty valuable to have. Let's have a look at his Rumble stuff. So for Rumble, miss percent up level 5, int enemies get CT reduction level 4. Okay, so mainly just debuffer. And then a 24 CT targets 3 enemies for 1.5 times his attack. And int enemies get targeted for level 5 speed down. Honestly, not the biggest fan of his Rumble stuff, but of course, in regular content, that's definitely where this guy is going to shine a little bit more. But that is going to wrap up this part of the video, guys. Now let's go ahead and jump over to the KIZUNA with free-to-play teams as well as my own personal teams in this KIZUNA. So first of all, we're going to be jumping into our 3 free-to-play teams first. You should be able to see the timestamps down below in the description of the video, as well as on the video timeline. So we have the versus Psy team first, which you want to be bringing Dex, Psy, and Int characters. Now, when I was first building this team for you guys in the preparation video, I have no idea how I didn't spot it, but this KIZUNA Hawkins, actually no, it's the Rumble Hawkins, sorry. The Strength Hawkins on this team does not actually receive any cooldown, but you basically want a character that is able to remove the defensive effect after like level 31, I believe. So after level 31, Katakuri on the last stage will give himself 4 turns of Rainbow Shield and 2 turns of Blue Shield. So you want to make sure you have someone on your crew that can remove those 2 defensive buffs once you get to that certain point. But if you're not aiming to reach those high levels anyways, you probably don't have to worry about it. But for those people that are aiming to build teams like that, make sure to keep that in the back of your mind. This Brûlé here gives you 4 turns of attack down, which we're using the Halloween Crocodile to remove on this team. Very, very nice. Moving on to the last stage, he's going to go ahead and give you 8 turns of Despair. Luckily, Halloween Law as the friend captain is able to completely remove that, which is great. And then we have the this free-to-play Shiryu as a captain, who's a 3.75 slasher and driven captain, which is very, very good. He gives you a full board of block orbs as well, and the free-to-play Jesus Burgess from the event that happened a few weeks ago is very good for this because he not only removes those block orbs, but he actually gives you an attack boost for your driven and fighter characters, I want to believe. Unfortunately, Law does not receive the attack boost from that, but Law is such a good captain for this fight that I feel like you should just bring him. If you have another unit that removes block orbs as well as does a better attack boost, obviously you can do that. And then page 1 gives us a really good chain lock for pretty good damage output for a free-to-play int team against this fight. Moving on to the second free-to-play team, you want to be building a team of driven, shooter, and striker characters that are predominantly Psy. This is definitely one of the more difficult fights on this particular quest, mainly because of Stage 2. Stage 2, Smoothie is going to blow away your bottom row for 3 turns. Luckily with this crew, the San Juan Wolf and also the KIZUNA Capone from a couple of KIZUNAs ago have a crewmate ability that resists blowaway, so those are very useful characters to bring. Capone will eventually give us some orb manipulation and an attack boost, and San Juan Wolf we can use on this stage. Now, if you are using a team similar to this, ensure you use San Juan Wolf first before activating a chain locking effect, because I do end up using Big Mom on this team, but remember, Big Mom is a chain locker for 3 turns, so you want to use San Juan Wolf first, then Big Mom, so that Wolf does not actually remove the chain lock that Big Mom gives you. So just keep that in the back of your mind whenever you use a special like that. And then we can go ahead and just kill, and we also have Nami and Sanji on this team, which is going to be useful for removing the special bind that gets inflicted to our crewmates on the final stage. Now you have to deal with resilience on the final stage as well, which is why we have Anel, because he can just outright remove it for us, which is fantastic. And then after level 32, I believe, he's going to have 5 turns of blue shield defense up, which is why we're using the KIZUNA Doflamingo, because he's like one of the only good free-to-play units that's actually boosted for this particular fight that actually remove the blue shield defense buff. So obviously if you've got a better unit that you can use, you'd want to use that instead of this Doflamingo, but you know, when you've only got a certain amount of units you can use, you gotta, you know, you gotta use what you can get, right? So either way, it does get the job done. It actually still does a pretty decent amount of damage for a free-to-play team versus this fight. Now, on the final fight here, we have the Strength Boss. Now, you want to be building a team that is predominantly quick, as well as making sure that they are all powerhouse-driven or slasher characters. Those are the characters that will be receiving the cooldown during this quest. Now, on Stage 2, you have to deal with Bind, and it's your top right, your middle left, and your bottom right characters. So ensure that you have a bind remover in the Magellan, the Zoro, or the Yukimaru place. Yukimaru is the one I would highly advise to bring, because what happens is after you move to the last fight, Katakuri is going to make all your recovery slots count as badly matching, and also give you a full board of recovery slots. And if you do any type of orb change, he will give you an orb barrier, as well as change your type slots into block. So you ideally want to get around that. So I would suggest using Yukimaru, because for 3 turns he makes all colored orbs beneficial for your quick units, meaning that you can move on to the last stage. Katakuri gives you all of those recovery slots, and if you've got a crewmate effect or a ship special that can treat those as beneficial, then you don't even have to bring an orb manipulator, which is really good, right? We're using Magellan as a friend captain here because Magellan special with double special activation, we were able to get a color affinity boost and a 2.5 times attack boost with that. You could also potentially bring a poison conditional booster on your team if you're able to fit it, so you can get a conditional boost on top of that. So Magellan is a fantastic option for this particular quest, and you guys will see how I personally get around it in my team a little bit later on in this video. But those have all been the free-to-play teams for this particular part of the video. Now let's go move on to my teams that I'm currently using in this KIZUNA clash. So the first of my teams here is going to be the team versus Psy. Now we are using a Moria friend captain with my own Katakuri, and the main reason for it is because we can have the Brûlé support on Katakuri to ensure that when we reach the last stage that we can get a full board of matching slots without having to bring a unit that outright removes block orbs. So it just makes things a little bit easier. Plus Katakuri is able to get a conditional boost, a guaranteed conditional boost against the enemy. So I just feel like Katakuri was a really solid option here. Now obviously, yeah, building a team around a friend captain fire tank pirates is probably the way you want to go around this KIZUNA to ensure that you get the most tickets possible, but I wanted to run this team because I love my man Mr. Slam Jam. Moria is a fantastic addition as well, even though the combination of Moria and Katakuri, they kind of contradict each other, because Katakuri wants to be at low health, whereas Moria likes to be at high health, and he has lots of recovery mechanics. But you're able to do it in such a way with, we have the 6+ Capone on the team to ensure that we get to that low HP threshold, so we're able to get the super type activation of Katakuri, and also being below 50%, being ensuring that we will we'll get the huge attack boost from Katakuri. Also, we are using the fire tank pirate ship, so we want to ensure that we're below 30% anyways, so that we can get the 1.7 times ship bonus from that. And then we've also got the 2 KIZUNA characters, which we were lucky enough to pull, being the KIZUNA Brook and the Judge, both of which are able to remove a lot of the debuffs on some of the fights at least. We've got Katarina and Devon, meaning that after a certain HP threshold, Devon can remove those defensive effects, but we're able to get 2 times conditional, 2 times attack, 3 times chain lock, 2 times orb boost, 2.25 times color affinity. This team should be lasting quite a while, I feel, just because that conditional boost from Katakuri is ridiculously clutch. The second team, I was mainly aiming to use double boa Hancock, but after realizing, I kind of found that, you could just use fire tank pirates quite comfortably with this team, and this is definitely what I'm going to do moving forward. Though this team is built in such a way that if you are unable to find a fire tank pirate's friend captain, you can definitely still use double boa Hancock. And the main reason for it is because we've got the Chopper on the team. Chopper is mainly here to remove the special bind on the last stage. Realistically though, you could probably replace him with something else that makes your team a bit better, so long as you are continuously finding fire tank pirates. I do use the fire tank pirate special here on stage 2, but if you don't have a unit that removes special bind and you are relying on that friend captain, then you'd want to make sure that that fire tank pirate special ability is used on the final stage, and you can use the super type special of boa on this particular stage instead. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you do aim to build a similar team. After a certain threshold, the enemy is going to put a blue shield defense buff up on this side of the field, which is where Queen is going to be really good for, but I think fire tank pirates remove defense. Actually, no, they don't. They remove rainbow shield and threshold, right? So yeah, you realistically don't even need to use Queen, but I'm going to be using Queen to remove the blue shield defense buff and give us the chain lock. We've got an L for the color affinity and the ability to get around the resilience, which is really good, and we've also got a gem at 66 for their orb boost and all that. So we've got a 2.5 attack, 2.25 orb boost, 3 times chain lock, we've got the affinity boost, plus we're using, fire tank pirates as a friend captain, and then they've got humongous stat boosts. So this is going to be a pretty awesome team moving forward, and I cannot wait to use this team more often. And in the final team of this video, we're using a hybrid team of Legend Magellan V2 as well as the versus Akainu. And the thing about it is we've already kind of touched up on, is that you're not allowed to use an orb manipulation special. Well, you are allowed to, but the thing is the enemy reacts to it and changes your type slots into block orbs and then puts them in those stupid orb barriers. So the way that we're getting around it is we're going to be using Sober Mask to change our orbs into tandem, and he's not going to change tandem slots. He doesn't change recovery or tandem or anything. So we're going to get those orbs locked on our team. We're able to use the Magellan twice to get his attack boost first though, and then we can go ahead and use Sober Mask to get the full board of slots that we want, get them locked. Once they're locked, we're able to use any orb manipulation special we want, because those orb barrier things are not going to be removed. So then we can use the Akainu special without having to worry about the enemy changing our slots into block orbs. So that's a great addition to the team. We've also got the Brook and the Judge to ensure that we get as many ticket boosts as possible. We do have the Nami support attached to Sanji, so we can use Sanji on stage 2 to remove that bind after stalling 1 turn, and then in that last stage we can use it again because of Sanji's crewmate effect. Unfortunately, we do have to use the Brook special ability in order to get the Sober Mask ready to go. Realistically, I could change Beppo for another threshold remover that doesn't manipulate orbs. That probably would be a little bit better off, so I could use that instead of having to worry about, manipulating orbs and then I don't get any of my buffs that I want. But realistically, really good team, does a lot of damage, able to proc the super type of Magellan as well, which is awesome. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys did, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
大将にゃあつらえ向きじゃろ